G'day, hi, and welcome. Alright, let's just jump into this. Okay, I'm going to make a just kind of a different little type of video here. And this is basically of all the Hughes Boatworks models that I know of. There might be some more that I don't know of, but basically what I wanted to do was just kind of give you random pictures of, so you know what you're kind of looking for. So I myself have a Hughes 26E, and there's, several grade levels and models of each boat. And they're kind of one of those things where there might be models you're not aware of because they're older, and you might not they might not be as popular, but they might be a good find for somebody. So I guess we'll start with the smallest and work our way to the biggest. So there's a Hughes 22, and it's basically a like one of these older smaller boats that you're going to see in here. It's basically a good starter boat type thing, but it has a cabin and all that stuff. And then they have a Hughes 24, which is the same boat but just a little bit bigger. And then they have probably the most popular of that kind of line of boat is the Hughes 25, which is basically like a full keel boat. These all three of them are kind of based off that same design, full keel boats, and these are the much older boats. Then you've got the Hughes 25, like I said. Then you get the North Star 25. Now the North Star 25, or sorry, the North Star 500, which is basically Hughes's race boat. It came out at a time just as the J boats were starting to come out back in the 70s, and these boats were 5-foot draft. I actually really wanted one of these. They had a step mast. It's probably the heaviest built 25 footer you can get. They're an MORC boat, mini ocean racer cruiser one design. That's a cockpit of one of the that just passed there. And that boat in itself is it's a race boat. It has a skeg rudder, um, and it has a fin keel, cutaway keel kind of thing. It's a deep set hull, and it basically looks, that's a Hughes 26. It's the same water, like below the waterline is the same. However, it wasn't quite fast enough. That's one thing about Hughes boats, is they're not known for speed. They're built well, but they're not known for speed. So the Hughes 500 gave way to the Hughes 26. There's the Hughes 26, the Hughes 26E, and then the North Star 600, or Hughes 26 North Star, whichever you want to refer to it as. And the North Star is like the top of the line. The E is somewhere kind of like a kip boat in between. And the regular standard Hughes 26 kind of came very bare bones and whatever. And that's one thing you'll notice about Hughes, is it gets a little bit confusing to figure out what you got. Like a Hughes 26 is basically, from the external, they all look the same, but internally they can be very, very different. The North Star being the upper end with the diesel and or gas engine. They came with a bunch of options. And after you get out of the Hughes 26, which is a decent sized 26 footer, it's one of the bigger 26 footers of its era, and definitely one of the better built ones too. Better built boat, but again, like my Hughes 26, it's not going to win too many races. Excellent upwind performance, but it's not a boat that you would call fast. Like with the inboard, mine was cruising, 4.5, 5 knots was typical in regular winds. Peak at about 6.5 knots would be a good day, right? Then after that, you get into although it's an older boat, it's the Hughes 29. Now this is a boat, it'd be considered small for like modern 29 footers. I mean, modern sailboats now are, they got 10-foot beams, and they're more wedge shaped than they are boat shaped, right? But that could be a good find for you, because a lot of those boats can be had for very decent prices. I've seen Hughes 26s go for like 5-6 grand in not too bad a condition. Finding one in good condition, that's hard. Mine, I paid 10,005. It started on the market. There's a Hughes 29 right there. So you can see it's the older boat, raised trunk. So it doesn't look very Hughes-ish to what we know. The popular boats are like the North Star 500, the 26 line, and the 31 and etc. etc. So the the 600 or the Hughes 26, like I say, you look around, there's a lot of them around. That's probably that was their most popular. I don't have any boat numbers for you, like how many they sold. But after the 29, you got the Hughes 31, which is basically kind of, it's not built to the same degree as the Hughes 26, where it doesn't have the tumble hone. This is the Hughes 500 right here. It has the tumble hone, where the Hughes 31 didn't. It's basically just an elongated Hughes 26, so a little more room. It's, you know, it's 31 feet, etc., etc. Still relatively shallow draft. All the boats are under 5-foot draft except for or under 4-foot draft except for the 31 and the North Star 500 at this point. And after that, you get into the bigger boats like the Hughes 35, which is pretty popular. That's probably not a Hughes there, but the Hughes 35 is, you know, like a coastal cruiser, inland waterway boat mainly, but it's built really fancy like the Hughes 26, which is good. And then after that, you get into the Hughes 38, which was again kind of a race boat, but you know, it was a racer cruiser of its time, but it was also a very, you know, it was considered fast for its time. But it's, you know, a little more roomy than the 35. You know, again, it's almost 40 feet, right? Then after that, you have the Hughes 40, which could be in a yawl configuration. And that would be your, basically your coastal cruiser or whatever. And I think that's the biggest boat that they make. After that, you get into like say Columbia yachts, because there was Hughes Columbia had a partnership obviously, and the Hughes and the Columbia used the same molds for some boats. So they were like the Columbia 1500 was basically a Hughes 35, that kind of stuff, right? But those are just some of the boats that they had. And the popular ones again be the Hughes 26, the North Star 500, the North Star 600, which again is another Hughes 26. The other one that would be popular would be the 31, the 35, and the 38. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that little video. Just thought I'd throw some of those models up there, so if you go searching for some Hughes boat works, you'd might find something you like. Alright, anyway, there you go. Rate, subscribe, share, comment, like. Be true to yourself, be true to others. Always do the right thing. Have yourselves a great day.